What is up? You are listening to the Christian Board Gamers Podcast, proud members of the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network, and we are so excited. We are starting Season 3. This is Episode 1. As always, I am joined by my dear brother, Ray, and in this episode, we talk about the fact that Ray and I hadn't seen each other for a little bit because I've been on the Dice Tower cruise, but more importantly, we focus on being on mission within the board game space. I talk about my trip with Love Thy Nerd to Tantrum Con, and we just get into that, and we just really talk about utilizing board games as a tool, and there's just a lot of really cool content in here. The episode's a little bit longer. We had a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughs along the way, so we hope that you laugh with us, but if not, it's probably not our problem. It's probably yours, and you need to increase your funny factor. Really, I'm just vamping right now, so who knows what's going on, and we're having some fun. So, Ray, before I dig a deeper hole, why don't you take that? I think we're pretty sure we have a sponsor. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we do. We actually, believe it or not, we do have a sponsor.
Let's go.
Fantastic. They're our longest running sponsor, Joe. They just keep going. And that sponsor is Refocus Creative. Man, do you have expert video production solutions need? Then you need to head on over to refocuscreative.com. Get with my boy Chris. Check them out. They do amazing work. They will give you the most dopest video for your board game that you have ever seen in your life. But you won't know that until you go over to refocuscreative.com. So be sure to check them out today.
Yo, I love that, right? The dopest board game video. Hit it. And with that, yo, Matt, cue that music.
Welcome to the Christian Board Gamers Podcast, where we focus on Jesus, community, and board games. Let's have some fun.
Yo, what's up, Ray, man? It feels like it's... That was so bad. It's good, man. What it is, Ray? How are you, dude? What is up, man? I feel like it's been forever since I have seen you, dude.
It has been, and I am great. Call me Tony the Tiger, because you know how I love cats, Joe. So, no, I'm doing fantastic, bro. I am so excited to be back behind the mic and here with you again. It has been, I literally haven't seen you in like a month.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You've been all over the world, traveling to different countries, playing far-fetched games and outlandish lands, and it's just wild, and I can't wait to hear about it.
Far-fetched games and outlandish lands. Awesome. I mean, you're not wrong in a lot of ways. Yeah, no, it has been a bit, man. January kind of kicked off, and it was like, oh, sweet, go time.
Yeah.
Which has been really sweet. Lots to catch up on, so let's do some of that now, I guess. So I was on the Dice Tower cruise. My wife and I had the opportunity to do that. We're celebrating 10 years of marriage this year. It's happening in August. Yeah,
that's awesome.
We're super
Congrats,
stoked.
Man.
Thank you. Super stoked about that, but my wife has wanted to do a cruise for quite a while. She's been on a couple more, and she's like, we need to do a cruise together. And so I jokingly, I think I had shared this maybe in another episode, kind of jokingly tossed out the Dice Tower cruise. There's no way I thought she would say yes to a board game cruise, but instead she was like, wow, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. And I was like, yeah, that does sound awesome. Let's do it. Let's go, right?
Yeah.
And so... we were on the cruise, which was sweet. We got into Miami January 4th, and we got back home into Michigan January 12th. The boat came and docked the ship came and docked on the 12th, and then we got right on the plane. And
you're just like on a little the
No.
SS Minnow.
Yeah. It was
with 10 other people playing
awesome.
Catan.
Yeah, it was great. It was so good. No, if I was playing Catan, they probably would have thrown me off the ship. No, there was actually 800 people just for the Dice Tower, but there was 6,000 people plus the staff on the ship, which was crazy. So we were on the Symphony of the Seas. It was a phenomenal time, 10 out of 10 experience. I had never been on a cruise, so this was really cool for me in that regard. We got to do all
It's so amazing.
Yeah, it was so good, and we got to do all the cruising stuff. So we went to did all the island stops and the excursions and all that, but also the downtime, which was really dope. dope is you had 800 people that were there to play board games and a library of over 2,000 games just on the ship. And so during those times, we could go and hang out and play games. It was amazing. I mean, just the cruise in general was phenomenal. And we got to go to, we were in the Bahamas, and then it was to our plan got changed because Puerto Rico was like under construction. So we ended up in Haiti and then the Dominican Republic. And
how was that? Tell me more about Haiti. That sounds like an interesting place.
So Haiti was very different. So yeah, Haiti, we didn't spend a lot of time like on the island.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I mean, like we went and we did like a tour, and we learned some things, which were really cool. We got to walk around and kind of hear some of the history, which my wife and I like, and we enjoyed that time. It was good. It feels like the tour guide cut us short a little bit, but that's okay. It was still good. Then we made the mistake of going into the market, which we were just going to kind of cut through, but that's like that part is like all locals and they're just trying to sell, right? It makes sense. But it's very aggressive, right? And it's like, so we did that thing, but we actually did in the market find some really cool handcrafted stuff for our boys. They're like these swords and the sheaths and stuff. It was really sweet. And so we got them for them, and so it was worth it. It was just a lot. And then, like I said, we chilled out on the beach for a little bit and then just went back to the boat. And we're like, yeah, but actually my wife ended up going back out. See, we had connected with some people from the Christian Board Gamers group, Jeremiah and Kara, and they were on the ship, and we connected and just hit it off. So we spent so much time with them. Well, Stephanie and Kara went back out to the island in Haiti, and then my wife doesn't like to stay like in the areas that they tell you to stay in. So she found this like little cove, and her and Kara went and found like they were down by the water, and it was like she's like, oh, it was so cool. They got some video, and then they went and did like the roller coaster thing, and so they went out and had their own little adventure.
There's a roller coaster in Haiti?
Yeah, it's like kind of like an alpine slide sort of roller coaster thing, which was cool.
Wow, I would have never guessed.
Yeah, I don't know, not really my thing. So my wife and Kara did it, and they had like a blast doing that. And I was taking a nap, and I don't know where Jeremiah was. But either way, like I said, we hung out with them a lot. We did all our meals together for the most part. We just gamed out a lot together, which was really fun, and met a ton of other people. It was kind of neat. I got to play a game with Tom Vassell, which was fun, and just hanging out. You know what I mean? Having a great time.
You guys were like old friends, man.
Right.
Like, oh, hey, seeing you again, man.
Yeah.
See you everywhere. You're on the podcast. We're playing games together. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it wasn't quite like that. It was we were actually playing Edo, which is a game he really enjoys. It's like this party game. It's kind of like The Mind, where you're trying to get things in order, but you have these categories, and you have a number. And if my number was like 34, and say your number is 56, but they're hidden, it's a cooperative game. And the category might be like strongest superheroes, and you have to like think about what your number and the superhero that corresponds, and we have to get them all in order to win the game. And
without talking, right?
No,
that's like
you can talk. The Mind is no communication.
Oh,
but
the mind. That's okay,
right.
Yes,
In Edo, you just get one. Like you say your clue, like my clue. Okay, my number is. We had this category, and mine was Spider-Man, and kind of where it fell in based on the other clues that were given, and then we can decide, do we like the order, even though they're not. They're all kind of face down. We don't know them. We determine like, based on the clues, do we like the order, and you can kind of set it, and then once it's set, you flip it, and it was a lot of fun, man. I actually played that game a few times. What was really cool, I played some strategy games on the ship, but I was really enjoying like the party games. Like we were having a lot of fun. We played this game, So Clover, and it was an absolute blast. I thought they were going to kick us out of the room. We were laughing so hard, and it was even more fun because it's a word game, and the guy that sat down to play with us was literally from Germany, and he came to the cruise from Germany, and like he was joking about how he had a very limited like English vocabulary. And he had the funniest laugh, and when he would laugh, I would lose it. And like his name was,
I love people like
that.
That's
It's so good. And his name was Elvis, and we had an absolute blast. Yeah, I know, to the point where other people would like come over and like, okay, I want to play with you guys, because we were having the best time. At one point, my wife, we got her clues right, and she was so happy she hit like a woohoo that like made my ear bleed, and like every table in the whole, like everything just turns heads. heads, and I'm just like, we're having a fantastic time.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's
maybe
awesome.
maybe the wrong space for the party game, but we were just having a ton of fun. And my highlight of that, though, from a gaming perspective, was Life of the Amazonia. That game was awesome. I got to play that with Sam Healy and JT, who does this podcast with them, and they absolutely trounced me from a score perspective. But I just really enjoyed the play. It's a bag builder, and it also, like, not only is it a bag builder, you're trying to get these animals and place them on these tiles that you've been purchasing, and there's a bunch of different score tracks. It was super fun. I really like it. And so it was just a really good time.
You do like a good bag builder.
I do.
Good score track. I know that about you, Joe.
Yeah. I mean, any game where there's multiple ways, like multiple paths to victory, you're kind of creating your own thing, but it also is affected. There is some like interaction in that I might need an animal that you're going for, and so we're kind of racing for those animals. And you have a special animal with a different kind of condition. It was just really fun. I really enjoyed the game. Plus, it was cool to play with Sam and meet JT. What?
A special animal with a different kind of condition. I just got a weird picture in my head. I'm just going to leave that there. We'll just keep moving along, though. But,
good. Yeah. Just run with it. But either way, the cruise was awesome. Like I said, meeting Jeremiah and Kara made it like that much more fun because we got to connect, which was rad.
That's sweet.
And so we all kind of admitted that it made it that much better. We just instantly had... like I said, just connected. We laughed so much with them. Jeremiah is a funny dude, and just really cool. And so they're from Oklahoma, which is kind of a bummer. It's like, man, wish you were in like the Kalamazoo area because we would hang out all the time.
Right.
But now you get some friends in Oklahoma, right? Which is really rad. And so did a lot of gaming. Just again. Was really kind of just enjoying the party game kind of vibe, played Cult Super Express a couple times. Played the game Lure, Lure, from All Play, which was really fun. It's like a fishing game. I ended up getting that when I came home because my boys are obsessed with fishing. And this is a dice game, but it feels a lot like you're fishing, which is awesome. It was just like, it's a really cool mechanic. You have 7 die, I think, 6 or 7. And there's fish out in the river, right? Like in the market, and they have a value. And so you basically secretly wager how many die you're going to like put up, like how many dice you want, right? And then you also could have these lures that give you special bonuses, like they might give you more strength or allow you to change like a die up or down 1 or like whatever, or give you +2 on a fish that you catch. And so I hide, and then we reveal it, and then the lowest number gets to go, like the lowest number of die get to go first. Like, so if your dice, if you only have 2 of them, like you get to go. If there's ties, you go together, and it's like really cool. And so you have to like match this condition. Like the fish might be like a 19. So you need at least 19 on the dice, right? But it'll also say you also need to have a 5 and a 4. And if you don't have a 5 and a 4, it doesn't even matter if you get to 19. Like you have to have at least those numbers. So it makes it like tough to catch it. Right?
Yeah.
But you can use the lures that are like particular numbers. So I might have a 5 on my lure, and I can wager that, and then I place it in, and now I at least have the 5 toward the 4, right? Like, so like that kind of stuff. My boys loved it. My 5-year-old was so excited to like hide the die, and like we were having a blast. And so they give you like a D20, a D12, and then I think 5 D6s. And like if you use the D20 or the D12, they have to sit out around, so you can't always. They're not always in play. It's just really cool. It's from All Play. It's really, really good. And then right before I left for North Carolina, we broke out triple scoops with a cherry on top from Fun First Production.
You posted a picture in the group, didn't you?
Yep. Super good game. Again, family really enjoyed it. You're making ice cream scoops and serving customers. What I like about this is because I know Michael and have worked with him. He's very, very creative. So the game itself comes with a lot of different modes, and so like that's really fun. I can't wait to explore that. But the base mode itself is just really fun. It was a super cool game. My kids really enjoyed it. You're like getting ice cream scoops and whatever the order is that you lay it in, it's stuck there unless you have cards that let you rearrange them, and you can add other scoops to knock the bottom scoop off, and like so you're really just trying to get creative creative with like actually completing the orders. It's a blast, honestly. It's just it's really fun. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of games. I see that you have Boop in the back there.
I do. Yeah, this episode is brought to you by Boop. No, not
really. We do not have a paid sponsorship through Boop.
We don't. I'm just joking. I just thought that would be funny to say. Yes.
Yeah.
I do. Before we move on to Boop, though, I was going to say, what's sweet about a cruise is you are literally in the middle of the ocean, so there's nowhere to go.
Oh yeah.
So everything is on the ship. Everything you could want, all the food, all the entertainment, everything is on the ship.
Let's keep it
like
going.
Laid out.
I got more to add to this convo. Yeah.
It's like a palace on the ocean, right? And you go to sleep. You wake up in a brand new area. There's like just beautiful scenery all over. Everybody's happy. They're all here for the same reason. There's tons of people.
Yeah.
So I can't even begin to imagine how amazing it was, because we've gone on 2 cruises now. And with my family, it's been super fun, especially having people that we are there together, and we have the same plans, and we're going to do stuff together. We're going to see these shows together. So for half of the ship to be all board gamers and have an extensive game library and have nothing else to do for the whole week or 5 days or however long was just like, hey, we're just going to play board games all hours of the night. We have nowhere to be. We have nothing to do. There is no responsibility other than to eat and have fun. Like, I cannot even imagine how awesome that was.
Yeah, it was wild. Now, here's the thing, man. Not only that is that you had a pizza place that was open from 10:30 a.m. to 3 a.m. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I could just go get pizza at any time I want. Like,
it's so great, isn't it?
Okay, and then
it's so great.
And then you're like, yeah, I'll take 700 slices, and they'd be like, sure, here, and you're like, wait a minute,
here you go.
Right, and it's like, how is this happening right now? And then soft serve ice cream everywhere. But but to your point. One of the things that kind of hit me probably, like, so it was a 7-night like cruise, like this is a long one, right? And so the thing that hit me is I'm like, I don't know that I would get on a cruise ship without the board gamers and the board game library, because I'm not like a partier, right? And so I'm like, I think you'd get bored. Like, what do you do? Like, you could bring your own games, but again, I'm bringing games and I'm looking for people to play with. Like, I'll at least have Stephanie to play with, but then you're trying to find people to play with. But it's like, I'm not partying, and these things are party ships. I am sitting here like, yo, like, it's day 6 and these people are still going. Like, I don't think any of them slept. I don't know what's happening right now. Live music everywhere, which is awesome. Sat and listened to some really cool bands, and that was fun. But it's like, I don't know what I would do, right? So I'm like, yo, like, if I'm going to get on a cruise ship, it's got to come with board gamers and a board gaming library. I'm just saying, because I'm not like, oh, let's go to the water slides, and let's do, like, that's not my thing. It's just not.
It does. I will say, so the first time we went on a cruise, I think we went, it was 3 days, 4 nights. This time that we went, because remember.
You probably meant that in reverse, right? 3 nights, 4 days.
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how you doing that?
Yes. So 4 nights, 3 days. And then, this one, because remember, like, I didn't make it to the Game Changer because I was on a cruise. That was the cruise I was on.
I remember very much.
I suspect you would. Yeah, you bring it up all the time. But so the next one, I think it was 6 and 7. So it was like an extra day or 2, and so we found that actually before the last day, we were all ready to go home. We were like, because I mean, there's only so much space to do, and when you're out at sea, like, you're not getting off of the boat and going and walking around. There's only so much to do, I mean, all the shows, all the food, all the everything, music, all that stuff. But then at some point, I'm like, I'm just ready to, like, go home and be on land. And so, like, I imagine that having the game library on the ship and people that are willing to play, because I saw, like, groups of people here and there, and it was like the groups of people that they were with. It wasn't like open gaming, so it would have been, I imagine, if I would have brought a game, set it out on the table, we would have been laughing and having fun, maybe got some people, but a lot of people are usually like, they're pretty time of, like, going to see this show or going to see this group or going to eat here and all. So anywho,
but it was dope. It was dope. It really
Yeah.
did bring a whole nother dynamic, just having people there to play, and it was cool because like I got to play test Victory, like, which for me was a big test, right? Because I was like, okay, we're gonna take Victory on a cruise ship with people that really love board gaming, because you don't go on a board gaming cruise unless you like really love to game. Right? Like
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
guess, right? You're not generally,
Right.
I mean, unless you're the spouse of a gamer and maybe you just go to, hang out, whatever. But either way, I was like, okay, I've gotten this game in front of many gamers, right? Like that's true. I've had a wide variety as it relates to like playtesting, but I was like, okay, I want to get this in front of like gamers. This game's going to sink or swim. And so I did three play tests. All three of them went super well. I got a lot of great feedback from it, which was really, really cool, which was like just good to have. It was cool because most of the feedback was cosmetic, right? Like, oh, maybe word this way, or like, those kind of things. But everyone really, really enjoyed the game, which was awesome. The final time I play tested, it was probably like, I think from a game designer perspective, it's that play test that you almost like are afraid of, because like the people that sat down at the table, they're like gamers. Like I had played a game with them earlier in the week, and the games that they play are like super heavy, super chunky. And I was like, y'all, this is a biblically inspired deck builder, and I'm play testing. So if you don't want to sit, because I had a players wanted sign, they were like, hey, we were going to play one game tonight because we had a show in the evening. We're going to play one game. We're going to sit here and we're going to play yours. And we played for a while because one of the players kind of had some AP. But at the end of the game, one of the ladies was like, I would buy this right now. Like hands down, I would get this. I really love deck builders. Think you did a super good job with this, and I was like,
Yeah, let's
wow.
go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
like praise God, man. But they also had some really great suggestions, ways to speed some things up, and so just had a really great time. It was just a really good play test. But all the people that played really enjoyed it, and they weren't. And again, I said, look, guys, like I don't need you to tell me this is good. I need you to tell me what needs to be fixed. I need to tell I need you to, like, you don't know me. Like it's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah. Criticize me.
Right. Like I need
good
this
feedback.
because I'm trying to get this game out, and I want this to be the final, version, if you will. And so this is the one I'm going to be building off of. So don't leave here without, like, if there's something you have to say or want to say it. And so I feel like I got genuine feedback. They were all very like real, and it was awesome. And I came back, made some of those adjustments, and then took it with me to Tantrum Con, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But
Nice.
the cruise was dope, dude. Hands down, phenomenal experience.
Did you go to Tom Vasso? He does a Sunday service. Were you there?
Yep,
like
we
did he
did.
do a chapel service?
Yep, we were there for the chapel service, which was really cool. And that actually met one of the guys in there that actually ended up playtesting Victory, which was really cool. I played it with believers and non-believers, which was awesome.
Sweet.
My last playtest was all non-believers, and every one of them was like, or at least, I mean, let me put it this way: there was no indication that they were believers. No one leaned into the theme, or anything, but we had just such a good time. But yeah, so met him there. But yeah, the chapel service was great. I mean, it was really cool. We just came in. They had a time of worship, which was awesome, and then Tom shared a message. Which is a really interesting message because he was having everyone think about like death and stuff, and you're like, we're about to go out to sea, and he's and he's leaning in with it. But it was a good message. It was just about really like making the most of your time, and utilizing it well, which was dope. I mean, it was really cool, and it was nice. And then like I said, just the whole cruise was 10 out of 10. Just
That's awesome.
Phenomenal all around. And eating pizza anytime you want to is pretty phenomenal too. So
that's wonderful. Well, I didn't go on our cruise, but I did go to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Kim and I we do an annual trip to Tennessee at the beginning of every year. It's kind of like our marriage retreat. It's our opportunity to be able to check in and just, what were you going to say? You had something smart to say. I saw it.
Well, it was just the way you said retreat. He sounded like he said retweet. Like it's our marriage retweet.
It's a
retweet. You're the queen. You're the red queen in Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland. Yeah.
Tweet.
The retreat that we go on. Let me clarify for anybody who maybe thought that I was tweeting on X. No, it's good. It's good. But yeah,
Hold
we
on,
treat it
because back in the '90s, that sentence would have sounded a whole lot different if you were tweeting on the X. Hold on,
man, we've come so
Yeah,
far
we
as a
have.
nation.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
crazy.
This
This culture
is
is wild nowadays.
so
Yeah.
crazy.
Where was I saying? Yeah. Oh, so we go to Tennessee.
Yeah.
We get the same cabin every year. We've been
Cool.
doing it like four years in a row now, and
Amazing.
it's a great time just to check in with each other, do some vision casting for our future, talk about what went well in the previous year, just relax. And so, a dear, dear, dear friend of mine for Christmas got me a very, very sweet game that was something dear to my heart. And that game, you probably guessed it if you're watching on YouTube, is none other than this game here. Boop.
Boop. It's just fun to say.
Yeah, it is fun to say. So it's funny. It says a very thinky game for two clever cats. So I took this down there with us, and yeah, so we broke it open, man, and got a chance to play. And it actually was pretty fun. It's super simple. Basically your goal is to get 3 cats on the bed in a line. And so you start out as kittens, and it's kind of cool actually. So the board box itself, it doubles as the bed. So it says you set it up so there's your bed, and then here's the top, and then so you place kittens in there, and then kittens kick other kittens like to the side, and so then you knock them off of the mattress, and then when you get 3 kittens in a row, they graduate to a cat, and then your cats can't be moved by kittens, but they can be moved by other cats. It's this whole cat thing that really speaks to who I am as a person, Joe. And you know me so well that you got me this game, and I appreciate that. So we had fun playing it. It was a good time. Yeah.
I was hoping y'all would. I like the fact that it was a 2-player game. I like that it really leaned into your cat obsession, and I thought,
just so everybody knows, I'm not obsessed with cats. People make it seem like I am.
No. Back up. I almost said we're 3 seasons in, holding up 4 fingers. We're 3 seasons into this podcast. Nobody's buying what you're about to say. Everybody knows you're cat obsessed.
Just because I have a cat picture up here and nothing else in the room doesn't mean that I am obsessed with cats. I just want you to know, you people turned me into this. You people turned me into this cat man that I am today. I was just a normal cat guy, just living my life. And then people just kept buying me cat stuff, sending me cat memes, talking about how much I love cats, asking me how my cats are doing, asking me to see the pictures that I take of my cats. And now I'm this crazy cat guy.
Yeah, you just listed all the reasons why. But this sounds like a bit of like a villain origin story. You're like,
it is.
You
basically.
people have made me this way, and now you're like going to come out like, this is going to be fantastic. Yeah.
So I did want to read this from the rule sheet.
Yeah.
As I'm reading it, I'm telling Kim, my wife, about it, and I'm like, oh no, you got to place after the kitten gets booped, and it says when you place a cat onto.
No, just read it. It's gonna be awesome.
I know, but I'm just thinking about, like, you got me this game. I feel like I was set up now. This whole time was a setup. Like, I can't wait till Ray talks about this game on the podcast so he can really, people can see
how
much of a cat. It feels like a setup. I'm leaning into it, though. I'm leaning into it because you people did this to me, okay? All right, we're going for it. So when you place a kitten or a cat onto the bed, you have to either say boop or meow. So the whole time you're playing the game, you're meowing and saying boop. Like, and she's like questioning me. She's like, no, it doesn't say that. I'm like, no, I'm serious. This is what it says. So I boop one of her kittens off of the mat, and then it turns into a cat. When a kitten turns into a cat, you take it out of the game.
Yeah.
And so she sets it down by the rest of her kittens. I was like, oh, no. It has to go back in the box because kittens love boxes. That's what it says. It literally says, place them in the box lid. Kittens love boxes. And she was like, she thought I was making this stuff up, but it's a fun game for anybody who likes cats and wants a simple game to play. I would suggest it for anybody.
Yeah.
Not just cat lovers.
Right. All right, Meow. Do you really think that it's sorry. Oh, no one's going to accuse us of not having fun. You're going to have fun on the Christian Board Gamers podcast.
Do I look like I drink milk from a little round saucer? Like I drank from limb to limbo, nimbly bimbly?
All right, meow. We don't want to get too carried away here.
I'm sorry. Are you
no.
saying meow?
Yeah. Do I look like a cat? Yeah. Okay.
Anywho.
Yeah. Back to it. Yeah. No.
Let's
There was
get
no.
back.
There was no setup. Honestly, it was just a genuine. The game is very popular with people, and I've heard that
I see why.
it was really fun.
It is.
And so there's a ton of different versions of it. And I just, when I was finally like, okay, I'm going to get this for Ray for Christmas because I thought that you and Kim would enjoy it. Not as a setup, not because you're cat obsessed, sort of, but again, just looking at it, thinking, oh, this would be a cool 2-player game. Cause again, I tried like a lot of times. I mean, you know, my passion for the hobby. I think it's important to find games for all different types of players. And like, I know that Kim will try things, but she's not into like the complex games. And I'm like, this game isn't complex, but it's not just like, it's not Uno, right? So you're going to have some more strategy that's involved, and that's cool. And so I just thought it would be a good time for y'all and a theme that you could get behind because you do enjoy cats.
Absolutely.
A lot,
absolutely.
right? So for me, that that was the man. I missed this. When we take a break, it's tough, but now we get to record again. I've missed it. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now, you know, that just being a theme that you guys could actually enjoy while you're playing, and have it be a game that like I said, I haven't actually played it myself because I'm not a cat fan. But no, I was just kidding. I just haven't played it. But again, I had heard enough about it. I know you can say that again. I had heard enough about it that I definitely wanted to get it for you. And then you were going to tell me if it was good or not. So we'll play it.
Yeah,
eventually.
no, it is. It's really good, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's going to stay on the shelf because in several years, our little baby girl will be playing board games. I'm sure we'll have some cats and we'll be booping.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll be booping. Yeah. No, good. No, that's awesome. I'm really glad that y'all have played it. You also were telling me a little bit before here that you've got a game that's coming in that you jumped in on a Kickstarter at some point. So
very excited. So actually, I also had took Pandemic to Tennessee to play, but we actually didn't get a chance to break it out and play. Kim has not played. I have. We talked about it before. Really enjoy that game. But the exciting news for me is this Christmas is going to be awesome because I'm going to be set to get my deluxe copy of Deliverance.
Yeah, man.
With the expansion, man. I'm so excited. So, yeah, I previously I talked to you about it. I did not get on the Kickstarter and I missed it. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm like looking online, trying to find it in game shops. And so couldn't find it. And I got a email notification and it was saying, hey, it's back on Kickstarter. And if you want to fund and this and that. So man, I jumped on the opportunity to get the deluxe version. I didn't get the all in with like the t-shirt and the soundtrack and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But if Andrew Lowen's listening, he wants to throw that in. I mean, I'm not going to say no. It's an early Christmas present. Heck yeah, man. Because we're BFFs. So,
right.
But no, I got the deluxe version though. I was like, after playing with the neoprene mat, I was like, I have to have that. I can't play it. Oh, it's amazing, man. And so it's got the extra player slot for it. It will have all the new angels and the new scenarios. And so, man, I am so stoked. I'm like, you guys might not hear from me for like a while after Christmas. I'm just going to say that.
Nah,
so,
it's good.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's exciting because you really did enjoy the game. I mean, we've talked about it in previous episodes. So if you go to season 2, you hear a little bit about it in our interview with Andrew Lowen, but also, just some other times that as we talk about it. Ray really enjoyed the game, which is great.
Yeah.
Like we both did. But you have some some of your roots in your upbringing. It kind of felt a little bit more like those things for you, which is cool. Where Deliverance isn't generally my style of game, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just based on like the way it was designed, I felt like it didn't feel like a typical dungeon crawler to me, which was great. It felt more like a board game. Felt more like I was interacting and engaging in different ways, and I just really enjoyed it. So, no, I'm glad that you got that. I'm looking forward to the expansion content. We still have to get into our campaign whenever we find the time and keep moving through that. So, well, as we prepare for your your Kickstarter will have to do it. So, yeah, man,
Yeah.
that's what's up, dude. So, as I mentioned earlier, Tantrum Con, we're going to kind of focus a little bit here because I definitely want to talk about going on mission with Love Thy Nerd. And so I recently got to go to Tantrum Con. I just got back on, when this releases, it'll have been a little bit. So I will not give dates, but no, I just got back from North Carolina at Tantrum Con. Had a phenomenal time. What's really cool, so going on mission with Love Thy Nerd, right? Being able to use board games to bridge the gap, to have conversation, to build relationships, which is like, for me, that's kind of the dream, right? If you listen to this podcast, that's what we talk about. How do we utilize board gaming to reach people? And if you've heard in previous episodes, I'm working on a book right now called Reclaiming the Table for Jesus, Discipleship and Evangelism Through Board Games. The whole premise is utilizing the table, utilizing board games to be able to disciple people, to be able to reach the lost. And going into a convention like this, you're going to have that opportunity to sit down at the table with people. What was really cool about it is we were running the hot games. And so we got all the popular games, man. Like we had River of Gold that was there. They actually had a copy of Finspan, the newest of the Span games.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. And so then they had Middle Ages, which I'll talk about in a little bit. There was also Babylon, Reef Project, River of Gold, Dungeon Cart, if you remember Dungeon Cart, that we played.
Yeah.
So Dungeon Cart was there, Gnome Hollow, and Foundations of Metropolis. And so all those games are there. And so naturally it's like Foundations of Rome. Yep.
Okay.
It's like their follow-up game.
Okay.
And so you have like all these games here that people want to play. And our job really was to just sit down and teach it to them, right? Or answer questions and walk through it. So it was so much fun. It's a lot to try to like remember all of those games. And if you know anything about me, like I'm kind of anti-span. I don't necessarily like much of the Wingspan, Wormspan was all right, cool. I've heard good things about Finspan, and I might play it eventually, but as of right now, I'm just going to sit in my corner and cry and not play it. But I taught a lot of River of Gold because I love that game. And I taught a lot of Middle Ages, which has really jumped up for me. Middle Ages was designed by Mark Andre, who did Splendor. And like I said, I'll talk more about that in a minute. I just want to talk about this mission trip aspect. So we have this opportunity now to teach these games, start building these relationships. We helped set the convention up, so we got to pour into the Tantrum House crew to be able to like help them get everything organized and set up, get the library moving, get, the hotel takes care of chairs and tables, but we're laying out mats. You're just making sure that everything's set. And so we got in on Wednesday night, and we were just offloading all the trucks, like helping All Play get all their stuff into the exhibitor hall, and just helping everyone with unloading. And then the next day, kind of coming in and making sure that all the hot games are ready to go, that everything's set up in the morning because the convention was going to start at noon that day. And then people start trickling in. And so now you're starting to teach, you're starting to interact and starting to engage. But what was really awesome, man, and I'm so thankful for the Christian Board Gamers group, is that there were a number of people that are in the Christian Board Gamers group that were at Tantrum Con. And what's cool about that for me is that Tantrum Con, because it's a smaller convention, generally, it's sort of like Grand Con in that, like it's a little over 1,000 people, you know what I mean? Like, which isn't small by any means, but like, I don't know what the final numbers were, but in most cases in conventions like that, usually people are they click up, right? Because they know all the people in the area, and so they all are just hanging out, and they all know each other. And so if you don't, it's hard to necessarily like just jump into something. And so you're always looking for player wanted signs, and there really wasn't a ton of them. But because of the Christian Board Gamers group, there were people that were like, yo, you're going to be there. Let's meet. Let's connect. And it was fantastic because I got to graft into a couple of different groups and be able to play a lot of games and just meet a lot of people. And so it was awesome because it almost felt like I was like, oh, I know these people, right? And it was just really cool to be like, oh, let's connect. And then we sit down and we play some games and had so much fun, right? But also getting to talk to them about Love Thy Nerd and about the going on mission, because it's like, this is what I'm doing, like, but also I ran into a number of believers there, which was awesome. But even talking with them about like, hey, like, I would love more than anything for you to be somebody that we can connect people to, because we come into these mission trips like, hey, cool, and then we're gone for a year and then come back a year later, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like, so let's say I talk to Chris over here, and Chris is a non-believer, and we're just having a great conversation. But I know, hey, Ken, who is an awesome dude in the Christian Board Gamers group, like Ken, and I get to meet his wife and they like all their friends. Like, hey guys, like you all are believers. This guy is a non-believer. Like, yo, hey Chris, they do this game night every Thursday or once a month, man. I want you guys to connect because they're in your area. They're 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
Like. This would be great, because for me that's ongoing discipleship, right? Like that's or it gives you that opportunity for that, right? Where it's like, okay,
Yep.
you now have a place to connect this person with, because it's the same philosophy that I when I speak at summer camps and stuff that I use, right? I always tell the leaders in leaders meetings, like, my job is to set you up for success because you're the ones going home with the students. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
They come here, I share, but then I don't see them again for a year, or maybe I see them twice a year, depending on the camp and whatever I'm speaking at. My job is to equip, is to really elevate y'all as the leaders. So I do it often when I speak. Like, y'all, look around you. These leaders have taken the time out of their life to come and pour into you. Don't miss this. And that's how you're now putting it on the leaders and the students asking these questions about, like, yeah, why are you here? Well, I'm here because I love you and I want you to know Jesus and I want to pour into your life, like setting them up for success. And so my thought is okay, how is LTN, can we go in and do missions, but also simultaneously connect people with the locals? Right. And this, they're thinking this way too. I just get into it. So I'm like talking to people like, look, like this would be so
absolutely
dope if you were somebody that like we could connect people with, whether you have your own game night or you're aware of them or any of those things. And so like for me, this was it's such a good experience, dude. Like, and then this is kind of crazy, man. Like just how God is moving in this space, and I love it, is, okay, so I played this trick-taking game called 12-Chip Trick. That's a hard one to say, but it's 12-Chip Trick. And I played it with this guy, and basically he just had a players wanted sign up, right? It was first thing on Saturday morning, and I just walked right up and said, hey, what are you playing? I'll play it. And he's like, oh, it's a trick-taking game. I'm like, cool, I like trick-taking games. And I sat down, and then he and I just played it 2-player, just him and I. And at the end, he shook my hand because I beat him, and come to find out he's a numbers guy, and this game is all based on numbers, and I think he was shocked that I actually won, right? Like, I'm coming with the sideways hat, like, what's up, homie? Let's play a game, right? And this dude's like, he works for the government, and he's like very, like, he's just smart dude.
How do you do this?
Right,
Oh,
right,
okay.
yeah, but again, like, it was cool. He shook my hand and was like, that was really well played. Now, pause that, because then later in the day, I run into him in the evening, and he's heading to the game library, and I have a volunteer shift. I was going to go help out with a live show, right? So Tantrum House does like a live show, which was a ton of fun, and that was my volunteer shift, so I was going to go to do that. And I come up, and I'm behind him, and I only know I'm behind him because he told me his last name, and his hat had his last name on it in the back. And so I was like, hey, what's up, dude? And he was like, I'm tired. And I was like, yeah, it's been a long day. He's like, no, I just have a lot on my mind. And I'm like, oh, well, this would be the perfect opportunity to talk to this guy, but he went that way, and I have to go this way because I'm running to this thing. And so the whole time I'm thinking and just praying, like, Lord, like, provide another opportunity with him, right? Watch this, dude. That next morning, we're having our little meeting. So like Luke does a great job of this. Like we all meet together in the morning. We talk about our highlights. What can we be praying about? Like it's just a really cool time to connect as a team in the morning. And I just said, hey, would you pray that for so-and-so and pray that God provide an opportunity for us to connect today? Right? And they're like, yep. And so then that was prayed for. Literally get to the hotel. I go to sit on the couch to call my wife because I didn't have any shifts or anything, and the convention doors really weren't open at that point. We got there at like 8 a.m., right? Like they're open, but nobody's there yet, really. And so I was going to call my wife, and I'm starting to make the phone call, and I have it's ringing, right? And who walks around the corner? That guy. And he goes, hey, what's up? How are you? And he goes, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm trying to reach my wife or whatever. He's like, well, if that's more important. And he said it that way. Well, if that's more important, And I was like, well, that's odd. So I would never normally do this with my wife, but she didn't answer anyway. So I was like the clear time where I could hang up that phone.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, and I'm not using his name intentionally, but I was like, hello.
Yeah.
Oh, my dogs are barking. My family just got home, so that's fun. Right in the middle of this part of the story, of course.
Yeah. You can't really hear him. It's okay.
Okay, cool.
We're all listening intently right now,
Nice.
so it's okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
You got us hooked.
Okay.
We're waiting for it.
And so I was like, no. I said, honestly, man, I've been thinking about you. And he goes, oh no. And I was like, no. I said, but last night, when we were leaving, you said that you were tired and that you were, you just had a lot on your mind. And so I want to talk to you about that. Like, what's on your mind? Like, what's going on? And we can chat. I said, you don't know me from Adam, dude. Like, you have no idea who I am. I said, but it's just something, and I wanted to at least chat with you about it. And so what was awesome is that he sat down. Right? Like, he literally, like, he went and he sat down and he just started talking to me. And so as he was talking, so now my kids are here. All right. Hey, sorry, we're pause this. This is fun. Hey, so we're recording the podcast. That is an awesome turtle. I will be up in a little bit, okay? I love you, dude. That is a fantastic turtle. That is he's so cute. He just showed me his
You're
little
such a
turtle.
good dad, man.
Yeah.
No. The people need to hear this and see Joe in all his elements, even as a father, past the board gamer, past the everything, does it awesome. You're just being a good dad right now.
It's by the grace of God go I, for sure. But yeah, he just ran down and showed me his turtle. He was very excited about. So anyway, I started talking with this guy, and he's like, no, I have a lot on my mind, and he's like, I work for the government. This is when I found out he worked for the government. He's like, I work.
Oh, you were serious that he works for the government?
Yeah,
I thought you were
absolutely.
just
No.
I thought that was like a joke, saying like you came in like with your hat backwards. This dude like works for the government.
Yeah,
you were serious.
He actually works for the government.
Oh, okay.
And so and through that though, like, he in particular, he works in finance. He works in numbers, right? Which is why the whole thing was not a joke. Like, that's all
you were
real.
serious about it. Okay.
All of it completely serious. I was not.
That brings a whole new level of you beating him.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought that you were.
No.
I thought you were just like analogy. Like,
No.
yeah, this dude like works for the government numbers guy, and I just come in here.
That's
just woke
absolutely
up.
absolutely
Okay.
legit.
Okay.
Absolutely legit. All of it's
That's
true.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so, but either way, we started talking. We got some East Coast ties. He's, New Yorker. I've got Boston, whatever. And we're having this conversation. And it comes out where I'm like, I'm a Christian. And he immediately was like, I am not. That's what he says to me. I am not. And I'm like, and like, he was almost emphatic, but not rudely. And I was like, hey, no, it's cool. I said, no worries, man. I said, I care deeply about people. And I said, and when you said what you said last night, and I just couldn't talk with you, like, I was just praying that I would have another opportunity to sit down with you.
Yeah.
And again, from my perspective, he's got to take that and be like, okay, like, wow, how weird is it? This guy's thinking about me. He prayed that we'd have an opportunity. Now I'm sitting down here and I'm talking to him. And I said, I just wanted to check in with you, man. Just make sure that everything's all right with you. That's it. So simple. But all I'm showing him is that A, you're attaching the name of Jesus, right? Like, I'm attaching Jesus. I'm a Christ follower. I was unashamed in that in our conversation. It made sense. And also that I cared enough to follow up with him.
Yeah.
Right? To the point where he sat down and actually like started to kind of offload some of the things he was dealing with. And for me, I'm like, I think that's a total God thing. Again, I had asked the Lord that the Lord would provide that opportunity. He's the first person I see. My wife doesn't pick up the phone, you know what I mean, in that moment, because she was getting the boys ready for church and all that. So the opportunity was like, all of it fell out perfectly from a time perspective. And then he sat down, we're having the conversation, and I could tell him like, hey, like, look, man, like, I follow Jesus, and I was praying that you and I would have this interaction. He, like I said, he was adamant that he's not a Christian, but at the end of the day, a seed was planted, right?
Yep,
like it has to be. And I don't know where he,
Yes, sir.
whether that was a watering or a planting, whatever. But I look at God's orchestration in that. And all of that happened because I sat down and played a trick-taking game. But even more importantly, the Lord allowed me to win. And I think that actually mattered even more because I think in his mind, because again, like there's a respect thing in that, like from his perspective, because he literally like shook my hand and was like, that was really well played. That was a great win, right? Like that. And again, no embellishment. Like he was like,
No, right.
excited
yeah.
about
Oh,
it.
I know you're not embellishing now.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. And
yes.
so right. And so I think all of that mattered, right? And to the point where he sits down on that couch. And I'm
Yes.
like, I love that because that's God in motion.
Yes.
Right. And I don't know what's going to happen in his life, but all I know is that the Lord orchestrated that time for me to sit down with him
Amen.
and let him know
That's awesome.
that someone cared. Right. And see, to me, this is the stuff. Right. This is the stuff that gets you jazzed up. This is the juice.
Yeah.
Right. This is like, that's exactly it. I sit down at a table. I play a game with you. I see you later in the day. You say something like up, it's off. God awards the opportunity to sit down and talk with you. Get out of here, bro. Like, this is the stuff. We cannot miss this. And this happens.
Amazing.
This happens when we go on mission, right? And again, like, I want believers who love board gamers to go on mission with LTN. This is a phenomenal experience. You get to go to these conventions. You're serving publishers. You're serving the convention hosts. You're ministering to those who are in attendance. But being able to really see how this hobby can bring people in, can bring people together, and how awesome that is, man. I had so many cool conversations, and not even in that, like one of the cool things is one of the guys in our group had the opportunity to share the gospel with someone because they were just ready, and they just shared the gospel, and then through there, like, this should continued the relationship. It wasn't like it just ended. It was like, yo, like, hey, let's connect, let's go. Like, this stuff to me is so powerful. But not only do I want you to go on mission with LTN, you're on mission now. We are part of the Great Commission. It's not a suggestion.
Yeah.
You've heard us say this a billion times in this podcast, and we will until we're no longer doing this podcast, is the Great Commission is not a suggestion. It is to go and make disciples of all the nations, teaching them everything that Christ taught. And he's going to be with us always. So go, right?
Amen.
Utilizing
Yes.
our homes as ministry vehicles, utilizing this space to get people to the table, to have these connections. You're on mission. Use games, right? Use games.
Let's go.
It's so beautiful
Yes.
for us because it's just been given to us. Like, here's this really cool tool, and you've got this home or an apartment or whatever it is. Like, a home doesn't have to be a house. It can be wherever you reside, right? But can you use your table, bringing people in? Again, that's where I'm writing in the book because I'm really passionate about it. But I'm seeing this stuff more and more. And now I've done 2 trips with Love Thy Nerd. I've come back each time like fired up, confirmed and affirmed in the direction, and just like, man, I want this for people. Because it's like, yo, if you love Jesus and you love board games, bring these 2 things together and let's get to work. And just how this works. And these conversations, they bridge gaps. Like, no, did that man give his life to Christ in that moment? No. Do I know if he ever will? No. But I know that I did what I was supposed to do in that moment. And again, even after I mentioned I was a Christian, you could tell, like I said, he was kind of like, nope, I'm not that. I just had a couple more minutes. And then he's like, look, like, I want to go play a game because I have to leave at noon to catch my flight. Cool, man. Right? I'm not pushing anything else past that. Even if I wanted to, he wasn't really awarding the invitation to that, and that's okay.
Yep.
But I felt like what God wanted me to do in that moment was accomplished, right? Which is like, hey, connect with this dude and put the name of Christ on this. Show him that you care about him. Show him that you love him. Because I don't know, maybe on the plane he sits next to a believer. I have no idea.
Right.
And
right.
and that person starts talking to him, and he's like, dang, man, I just met this Christian guy over here. Like, I have no idea.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And we
Man.
live in a microwave society where we just want to press play and we want this all to happen nice and neat in our timing and all these things. And I have really dropped that and just been like, I am a part of God's plan in whatever way he chooses to use me. And I just need to be obedient. I mean, again, it's not always easy talking to someone and just blurting out you're a Christian, right? Like, that's sometimes we force that. This felt very natural. Like, in the conversation, it made a lot of sense. And it was really me just saying, I was thinking about you. I am a Christ follower, and I was praying that you and I would have an opportunity to connect.
Yep. Amen.
Here we are, right? And I just prayed when he sat down that the Lord would open that door. Lord, just open the door to be able to share something, right? I didn't even know that he was going to sit down and talk with me. I just said, hey, I was thinking about you. And he just sat right down, drank his coffee, kicked back, leg up on his, on his knee, and was just chilling. It's funny, leg up on his knee probably doesn't make much sense as a sentence, but you know what I'm saying. But again, all of it sparked from a game, and I think that's so powerful. And that was just one of a ton of conversations that happened at the table as a result of playing games, and I love that. And so, yeah, man, I just really want to encourage people, if you want to learn more about going on mission with Love Thy Nerd, Would love to talk to you. You can email us at christianboardgamers@gmail.com, or you can just go to the lovethynerd.com and their website, and you can see like the conventions that they're a part of. You could reach out to Luke. Love to talk with you. Would love to, because this stuff is so good. And again, I got to play a lot of really cool games, Ray. I got to find. I know where the game is, but again, my financials where I'm like, I bought this game, which means I can't buy that game. In this game, it's called I'm the Boss, and man, Ray, it's a fun like party game, and basically the reality is it's just a negotiation game where you're trying to like literally close out contracts. Like when he was reading the rules, we're all kind of like, we have no idea what we're doing. It was not clear, and then all of a sudden it clicked with me, and so I was like, hey, move me there. Boom, I got it, and I just started negotiating a contract because I'm like, I think at the end of the day, I just need to get that payout, and so each of the spaces has like a multiplier, so it could be like. The contract could be $2 million, but the space we're on is a 5 times multiplier, right? So it's gonna be $10 million. And at the end of the day, I need certain icons. And we all have a set of cards in our hands. And some of those cards are those icons, and some of those cards are airplanes, and I can literally send another icon on a trip because they're represented by people, and I can send them out on a trip so they can no longer be a part of that bid. And there are these, like, I'm a boss cards, and there's also, like, the not todays, right? There's the stop card, so you can prevent this action from happening. And, man, oh, man, it is awesome. So I'm like, okay, I need the yellow icon, the green icon, the red icon, right? And I'm the yellow icon, so I've already got that one on lock, but somebody can actually like work to steal that icon from me and blah, blah, blah. And you're just having this conversation, be like, look, I'll give you $1 million if you throw your green one into my lot here. And they'll be like, all right, cool. Or like, yo, I've got the purple and I got the red. You need them both, man. And I know it's only a $10 million contract, but I'm going to do it for 3. And so, like, now at the end of the day, we go once, going twice, sold, right? And if you can get to sold without anyone snaking in this I'm the boss card, because all of a sudden then you're no longer the boss and someone else starts negotiating. And so now they get to negotiate and they try to make it work. But that's when you get upset. So you send them on trips. Like, you just like, nah, whatever, bro. And so, like, it sounds like chaos when I'm describing it.
It actually sounds like a better version of Monopoly to me.
Right. Way better. But it's so much fun, dude. And at the end of the game, you just count up how much money you have. So you're just trying to negotiate with people.
As Monopoly.
Right. You're just trying to negotiate with people. And so it's like, look, like, hey, I got these 2 people. They're going to do it for 3. I'll do it for 2.
Yeah.
Right. Because at the end of the day, I just need money to get close to scoring. And so you want to be a part of these negotiations. And then as you seal contracts, some of those spaces start to go away. And then what's really cool is after 10 turns, you flip it over and you roll a die. If you roll a 1, the game ends there. But if not, you keep going. And from every round after 10 turns, you roll a die at the end of the round, and the game can end at any time. So, so yeah, it's really, really cool. And so it either runs out that way or there's no contract. Like, there's 2 ways that the game can kind of end. Yeah. But it was super fun, man. I had an absolute blast. Fun. Yeah, it's definitely a game that I am very much interested in. But I played a lot of other games. But that one was definitely a highlight for me. This game, Owari, it's like a area control game. It was super simple, really fun. I actually won that one, which was cool. And not
winning games.
Yeah. Oh, I played 12 games. I think I won 4 or 5 of them, so I had a pretty good percentage. Man. I know it's rare. Yeah. But my standout game was that Middle Ages from Marc Andre. It's like it's a tile collection game, essentially. Like, you have a row. There's 4 rows of tiles laid out, and it's like if there were 4 players, they'd have the first row. Every row would have 5 tiles in them, and then so one of them is going to get discarded. But you basically you're claiming a tile, and the person who's the leftmost, like to the leftmost of the row, goes first. And so, it depends on where you claim the tile, and the tiles are all organized in a particular way where it's like, let's say weakest to strongest. That's not always that way, but that's how it kind of lays out. So there's an incentive to take the back tiles and not always just take the first player trophy. But what you do, it's an engine builder too. So what you do is you place your it's like it's back in the day, so it's a lord, right? It's in the Middle Ages, and you're on this horse, and you place that on there, and then everyone kind of goes in order. And so you take the tile, and you have this. It's called the fiefdom, and you have this little like board that you're then, and they're all made in like puzzle pieces, which is really dope. And you just place it with the matching icon. Then that triggers an action, and then it triggers an income phase. And so, like, my action might just be, like, for every one of these icons, I get X amount of dollars. And then my income phase is I collect 2 coins for every one of the wheat icons I have and every one of the house icons. So if I had 1 house, 1 wheat, I collect 4, right? And at the end of the game is just getting coins, because getting coins are points. And so that's it, right? And so, like, there's also a tax, though, too. So, like, I need to have a certain amount of ramparts as protection, because you might have barracks, and your barracks, if you have more barracks than I have ramparts, then I have to pay you 2 coins, and I have to take one of my farthest left tiles and put it in my cemetery. But there's ways to, like, get it from the cemetery back onto your board. And so, and there's ways to increase your production. So you're trying to create these, like, neat little engines in some regard, where it's like, okay, cool. If I go here, I'm going to collect 4 coins because I've increased my coinage, and I added another icon to that. So now I have 3 icons that I'm going to score on. 4 coins, each one of those icons, bam, give me like 30 points. You know, like, so you're trying to like to do that. But if you don't have at the end of the game, if you don't have something filled, right, like then you lose 10 points for each one of those empty slots. Whoa. And so, so it can be hard, because, like, there's 4 rounds in the game, right? So everyone's going to get, 16 turns, because there's 4 rows and 4 rounds. And some of the round ending things are positive, and some of them are negative. And so, like, it can really affect you. And it's just really interesting to me, man, how it works.
So what was your what were like the point totals at the end of the game?
So the first time I got played, I got trounced, because the two people next to me just kept attacking me. One was doing it with the windmills, and one was doing it with the barracks. And so I got 65. One guy had like 155, and there was 108 to 65. So I got completely obliterated.
Oh, wow.
But then I found out that the games from there were a little more like, the point total started to get a little even. So the second time I played, I won, and I had 106, and the next person was 78, and then 68, right? So, like, it's just kind of how it moves, right? And so a negative 10 points for not filling out your board is pretty significant. It can be, depending on your engine, right? Like, and so what happened in one of the games is I actually, one of the guys was going, and I had reinforced something, because I noticed that the end game bonus was going to remove one of our things, and he didn't plan for it and lost it. So he went down and came in third, but like, it's really fun. The only thing that I've noted, and other people have noted, is that whoever goes first tends to win. Like, whoever, like the very first player. So there's some house rules that might get sit in. Either way, I don't know if that's consistent across the board. You know what I mean? I don't remember how that all works. But it is something worth testing. But the game is really, really fun. I ended up picking it up. It was like $35. I was like, sweet, I'm in. Let's try it. It looks really cool. It plays.
That means I'm going to play it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely going to play it. and it plays quickly. It was really fun. Easy teach. I taught it a ton at the convention, and they sold out like pretty quickly there. So I was glad I grabbed my copy when I did. I actually literally I had played it twice, and then I had taught it like 5 more times. And I as I was halfway through one of the teaches, I was like, when I'm done with this teach, I am just going to go buy this game. I was like, I thoroughly enjoy it, and I know that this thing's going to sell. And so I finished my teach. I looked around. I was like, cool, we've got like 4 LTN people in here. I said, I'll be right back. I went to the store, like in the vendor hall, in the exhibit hall, went and I grabbed the game, and I came back, and I had bought it. So I was like, let's go. I do.
Yeah.
We're running up against time, but I want to mention one more game. I played a game called Scurry and Scamper, and it was a game by a guy in the Christian Board Gamers group named Dawson. I'm going to miss his last name. I think it's Cowles. I'm sorry, Dawson, if I'm screwing up your last name here. I didn't have it written down in front of me. This game was phenomenal, dude. It's a trick-taking game, and you are rats, and you're trying to, like, you're trying to collect the most cheese, but also you're trying to not have the most finks, and the finks are like these mouse traps. And like you need a mousetrap to guard your cheese, but simultaneously you don't want to have the most of them. And you're playing these tricks, but what's awesome is you have like pre-hand actions and post-hand actions. So like I can manipulate the trump, or I can like do a thing that's going to protect something because I've laid out this particular pre-hand thing. And then after we're all done, before you determine who won that round, you have a post effect that you can do. And so it can change maybe. And so someone else becomes the dealer that, and you can move cheeses and the finks around and all this stuff. And we had an absolute blast playing this. And I am rooting for this dude. He's already got the second game in it done as well, and it also looked cool. I just didn't have time to play it. But I am rooting that this thing goes, and I want to help him get it there because it's super fun. It looks super good. It's like it's got the cute factor, but it's also like tons of fun. It's unique. I have not played a trick-taking game like it. I told him, I was like, bro, you send this my way, I will definitely review it. And gonna help review the rule book and that kind of stuff. Cause, he's getting close to finish with it, but it's so good, dude.
Say the name again.
It's called Scurry and Scamper.
Scurry and Scamper.
Yeah, and so it's cool because the Scurry cards are the pre-hand actions and the Scamper cards are the post-hand action. And so but there's some take that in it. It's definitely, I mean, not some, there's a lot of take that in it, but it's but it's just,
if you're trying to steal people's cheese.
Yeah. It's just a lot of fun. And there, and he's got a dirty rat track though. So like if you, right, exactly. How brilliant, right? So like if you play the wrong, if you play a card and it's got this certain symbol on it, it's a dirty rat symbol, and you increase on the dirty rat scale. And like,
that's awesome.
and that,
I love it.
Yeah. And that kind of helps with tiebreakers and stuff. So like if there's a tie, well, who's further on the dirty rat scale? Well, you are. Well, then you
dirty rat.
Yeah. Then you lose because you're a dirty rat, And so like I said, very, very fun, very like cute in that regard. Art is super good. He just did a really great job with it, man. And so, rooting for him for sure. Brother in Christ got a great game, and has already got the second one pretty well done as well. So that was super cool. That's Scurry and Scamper.
Sweet, man. I love that, man. It's awesome that you got to connect with so many people in different places for the group. It just shows how alive the group is.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Man, I had dude. I had people come up to me in like the live show. They're like, "Hey, you're in the Christian Board Gamers group. Like, what's up?" And I was like, "This is so and so, and this is my wife." And I'm like, "Wow, that is awesome." And even had people join the group while we were there. But someone came up to me and they're like, "Yeah, I was in the vending hall and I got to." Oh man, there's so much more to talk about. This will be a longer episode. I apologize. I was in the vending hall and I heard someone talking about the Christian Board Gamers group. I'm like, "Wow, that's cool." But yeah, I got to meet Matthew Kimbick, who did like License to Krill, that whale game. I got to meet him. He was there, and I got to kind of catch a demo of his new game, which is pretty cool. It's called Ink Tensions, and he's been working hard on that. And it actually is pretty dope. It's like an octopus game. And so I didn't get to play it, but I had him demo it for me. It was just really cool to meet him. I was kind of bummed. I wanted to meet the guys over in Tangerine Games. They're in the Christian Board Gamers group as well. But every time I went over, they were like leading a demo, which is really good. But I didn't get a chance to like connect, and I'm running around everywhere, and so it was just it is what
stuff going on too at the same time.
Right, it is what it is. It was just kind of a bummer to not connect with them. I met TK, who him and Colton designed Galactic Cruise. They were there, and so got to say hello to them, which was cool. And just, like I said, phenomenal time. The LTN team was amazing, knocked it out of the park. Everybody was just so engaged and serving. And the Tantrum House cats were incredible. Like, they took care of us. It was really amazing. Just overall, 10 out of 10 experience. So much fun.
There were cats there?
Oh, man.
No, that's awesome, man.
Not a single cat, actually. No cats were there.
You piqued my interest a little bit.
I speak in the slang. But no, we are way over time. We've been going at it here, but that's okay. This is our first episode of season 3, man. We got to come with it.
We've been gone for months. Yeah. We need to give content. We have so much to talk about. Yeah. Of course it's going to go over.
1000%, man. Yeah. So, like always, man, we want to encourage you with God's word here to let your light shine so that people would see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. So again, we are on mission. Let's get about using board games to reach people for Jesus. So yeah, until the next episode, peace.
Peace.